Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though. Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup, though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup, though.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back. George Morgan here at your service. It's PSGL, it's Wednesday night, it's Spain tonight as well. Lots on the table, lots of battling. The title contest is still alive and kicking. And Jack, it's only taken us 10 rounds. We're on the 11th. It's all to play for.
Boromant goes on the inside and takes the lead on the final lap of the race. Now it's side by side between Boromant and Warner, but Boromant's got the inside.
Here in this phenomenal race, Cameron Dowd looking to take P2 in his very first PSGL F1 PC race. Incredible to say the least. You see that perfect lead, 1.5 seconds. DRS is the name.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to PSGL F5. We are here for round number 4 around the Losail International Circuit, around Qatar, for the first time in the PSGL season, or for the first time in PSGL's history, shall I say, purely because it's the first time that it's actually on the F1 game. My name is Jake. I'm taking you guys through this, as always, for this evening, and joined alongside me, once again, as always, Rhino was taken, aka Oshin. Finally, I got it right. How are you doing this evening?
You got right on the evening. We don't have the actual Oshin driving tonight, so that's impressive. But yeah, it's new track, Qatar. So gonna be interesting to see how everyone progresses. A few new names in tonight, a few names leaving us tonight. But yeah, I think it's a track where qualifying is going to dictate a lot how this race goes. Not a lot of overtaking opportunities on this track. It's very tight and narrow. more set up for, of course, motorbikes. But still, some guys are very advantageous here, so we might be seeing some guys going from some ridiculous moves on the double chicane in the second sector. I, for one, hope that doesn't happen. But we'll see as the race progresses. But yeah, we're just waiting for a couple more people to join, and then we will begin with qualifying. I'm suspecting there won't be any weather to welcome us this evening. That would be a 1 in a million chance for there to be rain in Qatar, but anything can happen.
As you say, anything can happen indeed. And I mean, I haven't seen any in any of the other PlayStation races over the course of this evening so far. So why not give it to us in F5? I think that'd be quite a fun thing to try and commentate over. I'm not going to lie, but for this evening, as I say, or as Alshina just said, there have been a couple of people that have been removed from the league or have been changed around. The likes of, I'm just getting it up here, NLR Lewis. It was in the Mercedes with NLR Ruddy. He's been replaced by Griglick, and I think IJ's VRT's been swapped around with Max Power in the Alfa Romeo. So both Lewis and Max Power, well, Lewis being banned from the league and Max Power, I think maybe just moving to reserve, and IJ's, as I said, replacing him for that as well. In terms of the results for last week, I'm sure you would have seen that Gian ended up taking the win with the championship lead, with Coolman in second, and I believe it was Ruddy in third. But due to a penalty for Ruddy, I think a 5-second time penalty on that last lap, he ended up dropping down to P6. So it was Hazara that ended up taking the final podium position in the end, and ended up actually boosting himself up ahead of Ruddy, ironically. So I don't think Ruddy was going to be too happy about that, but we'll see if he can maybe get a bit of redemption here for this evening. In terms of drivers that aren't actually showing up, there's a couple of reserves that aren't here tonight. True Drive, Marek and Hadrich. And then full-time drivers that aren't here for this evening are Oshin, Dutch Missile, and our championship leader of FVR, Gian. So this evening, we could be seeing another championship lead change in round number 4 out of 11 rounds. Almost already, weirdly enough, at the halfway point of the season.
We'll be basically a third way distance after tonight. But yeah, first time I've seen the Genius race tonight, so that gives the likes of his teammate Damien, Caillou, Rara, that gives them opportunities to claw the way up. Coolman also, but yeah, Rara definitely he needs to translate his qualified success into race success. He's only got a P2 to his name at the moment, and the same with his teammates Max Rowe. He's only got a P9 to his name at the moment, despite having a pole to his name. So will this be the night that the Alpine qualifying fortune translates into race fortune? We'll see as we're about to get into qualifying, I believe. And there's no rain, thankfully. That would have been something if there was.
You never know. It could still happen in the race. You never know. But yeah, I think it should be all dry. I mean, we're out in Qatar. Pretty much is the desert, so I'll be surprised if we do see any rain. But yeah, you're right. The Alpines have been the ones that have taken that top spot every time in qualifying so far, and unfortunately for them, they've just not been able to convert it into the race. Just their qualifying seems to be their bread and butter. But we'll see if this evening is where their luck could potentially change. As you say, Qatar, completely new track onto the game and onto the F1 calendar, and I don't think a lot of people would necessarily know the track properly as of yet, which is what going to bring me to my next point for this evening. In terms of penalty-wise, there's going to be so many invalidated laps on their first runs because there's probably people still trying to get used to getting around the circuit, making sure that they can try and stay within the track limits but going as fast as they possibly can. So I won't be at all surprised if we see, on their first runs anyway, a few drivers not being able to complete a lap time, maybe 12 out of the 18 that we've got this evening, that would be able to actually put a solid lap time on the board. But again, only time will tell. I suppose we've only just now started in the qualifying, and went on board with ETA Andero. I think there's going to be our first one across the line to take us through a lap here, Oshin.
Yeah, it's good. This is a track where track limits are plentiful, to say the least. There is a lot of opportunities to go wide and lose your lap time, but will that lead to them being more cautious on the first run potentially? That will be seen. There'll definitely be a few who just want a time on the board, thinking that there's definitely going to be a couple lads who don't put a time on the board because they just invalidate all the laps. That something to that wouldn't shock me if we see a few not classified times, to put it that way. So maybe those who usually are lower down can see themselves off the board by just completing a lap. But we're going to go on board with the Williams of Andrero, who's going to start the first lap. He tends to start the first lap. This goes down to turn 1. It's a long right hand that goes down to 5th gear, runs onto the opposite curve to turn 2. Similar style to turn 1, but left-hander instead. Comes up to turn 3 now. It's a tiny straight into turn 4. Where he doesn't go too heavy, just takes a long curve. It wasn't best for 4, but now it's a real test on traction and patience. Return 6, and he does it well. Very close to Valley there, but I think deliberately times it well. Has a bit deep through these sections. Now I run out of times as a Ferrari gets out of the way there. This is a very tight and awkward double chicane, as I called it a few times driving it myself. It feels like that. But now here comes the best part of the track. The 3 consecutive right-handers. Is he going to take them all flat out? I hope to God he does, to see the potential for the second one. And now you just want to do a downshift of the turbo below. He stays in 7, takes it flat. And now this penultimate corner, half run down the gear. And now the final corner, the long right-hander, he's gone down to 4th gear. He's faster than Stroll actually. And now it's a long run to the line, just waiting for the line. This thing that makes Qatar unique is that its finish line is well down the straight, but 20.6 to start us off. And it's going to be Hazara next, his teammate. A podium saver last week. Can't beat his teammate provisionally.
Yeah, no, he certainly couldn't. And Dara, as you say, being out on top at the moment, Cascara as well coming across the line. They're all making their way across the line now. As I say, Hazara goes into 3rd. IJ is the newly promoted full-time driver, goes up into now P5 as Griglet goes into 4th. Malia Pease goes into 6th. Rara's just coming across the line, and it's 1,000 guy of Andero, so he's not going to be able to make makes it up to P2. So good start for Rara. I think we saw something very similar at Silverstone last week as well, where Rara and Andero were sort of, I think it was like 3,000 separated on their first runs. So yeah, I feel like we're going to see something very, very similar with that for this evening. Mika, who's just come across the line, I think is one of the reserves for this evening as well, puts it up into P5 with a 20.709 as that's Maxro. Right. Back out on top as he was carrying on that qualifying form from last week. A 10th and a bit ahead of Andero as well into P1. The Alpines once again 1st and 3rd at the moment. But again, it's the same thing that we keep on saying. They need to be able to then translate it into the race, because qualifying is not where you get the points. It's in the race is where you get those points. And at the moment, they're just not showing that they can get those points in the actual race. Just as I say, unfortunately for Rara, they had a couple of dodgy bits as well. But yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to do it for this evening. As Franquise straight on top into P1 for the Ferraris. Lakitu is also out on another lap as well, and on board with WOR Fraser, who I think again got a bit unlucky previously. A couple of cars that are on the outside that hopefully don't impede him too much, but we'll see what the WR driver is able to do as he's about to come around that final corner. See if he's able to maybe be in contention with those top guys up there.
Yeah, no teammate for him to crash into this week, so it's going to be clean qualifying for Fraser this week, hopefully. But he's going to come to the line. Strong qualifier, and he proves a strong qualifier. P2, 200ths off Frankish. And Damien, he's coming for the triple right-hander now. The previous championship leader, I think he's down to turn now. He had a poor Silverstone, got caught up in an accident that was not his fault. So that was a damage limitation race for him, so he definitely needs a good result here, especially with no G, and this is a chance to potentially try and pull a gap in the championship. But he's coming to the line now. It's gonna... it's only P13. Not the best lap. I always forget how far back that start-finish line is on that straight anytime I've raced it.
Yeah, it's literally almost like halfway down the actual straight itself, so it is a very, very long straight, even though it feels like it shouldn't be. It just seems to be never ending when you're going down that straight, especially when you're coming to finish a lap. You just want it to end ASAP, but Yeah, Damien only managing P13 in that Aston Martin, and Coolman also just was up ahead of him, who put in a time of a 28.60, 1,000th behind Damien. So first set of runs done. Again, I am a little bit surprised that a lot of people actually managed to get their runs in. I thought it was going to be at least a couple of people that had invalidated their runs, but they proved me wrong, and that's obviously good to see. Ruddy being the only one that didn't manage to get a run in, I think I did see that he did invalidate on his time as well. So yeah, I think it's a good start for. It is an NLR driver, but it's not Ruddy this time. It's Frank Keys on top with a 20.451, and Fraser also being able to see if he can maybe carry on the form that he had in Bahrain at round 2. Again, just we're coming up to an unfortunate incident that happened with himself, so we'll see if he's able to maybe try and replicate what he could do at Bahrain, but without the actual hit this time. And hopefully have a bit more success with that one. But once again, Andero, he took us through the first lap. He's going to be the first one to complete the second laps around for the Qatar circuit for this evening. And again, very good start to qualifying for the Williams. See if he's able to replicate it this evening. And in fact, we'll see if he's able to replicate it right now as he's starting the second lap with Andero.
Well, he does need to replicate. He needs to improve on it. But P4 at the moment ahead of Lexarara is strong opening lap for Andrea, but he'll need to be there in 10 minutes time for it to be worthwhile. So going again, the rear was a bit flowy there, pushed it to the limits there. I think it was definitely through turn 4 he has more time to give, and yeah, way more smooth. It doesn't bounce off the curb as it did previously, so I think there's a bit of time gain there. And not as much as I thought, but still, time gain is time gains. Oh no. He lost it a bit there off 6. The traction, very difficult traction zone, so that might have cost him significantly. We'll see though as this track progresses, a lot of places to gain time. So we'll just see a sector split. He comes up to the start of the triple right-hander. What's the sector split going into the final sector? It's going to still slightly up. Yeah, I would still finish this definitely. I think the penultimate corner is somewhere he can gain time. I think he was too much off the throttle. Yeah, he was 75% of the throttle there, definitely. Oh, he's going to go into the pits, though. He's not happy with it. I think Damien, no. Maliapi's invalidated.
I'm trying to see who's going to be the next one across the line. If I'm not mistaken,
I think
it will be Mika. Yeah, I was about to say it might have been Kyle Scarrett, but no, that's his teammate Kailu. It is going to be Mika. So Mika's just making his way around the triple right-handers now. So far, 20.709 for the VRT driver in the Alfa Romeo. Again, I think he saw it was 700ths up on his time, so this will put him up ahead of Andera in the P4 if he's able to still keep that same time. Just making his way around the final corner now, keeping it in 5th gear. I've seen a few drivers keeping it in 5th, seen a few drivers keeping it in 4th, and then short shifting it up into 5th. But Mika keeping it in 5th around the final corner up to the line. It is up ahead of Andero, just between himself and Max Rowe. And speaking of Max Rowe, he's a 10th and a bit up on his time. In fact, yes, still 10th and a bit up on his time as he's making his way through the triple right-handers now as well. Took last week's polls, Griglick up on top with a 20.378 for the Mercedes. So very good time from Griglick. I feel like we haven't seen too much of Griglick so far this season, but maybe tonight could be a point or a turning point for the Mercedes. Of course, now getting that full-time drive ahead of NLR Lewis. But up towards the line comes Max Rowe. Again, it was looking very promising for him. I think he might be able to do it, and he certainly does. A 23.53 for the Alpine. He wants to try and keep that streak going with the Alpines, and so far he's doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, I was on board with Rara, and he lifted at the end of the straight before he crossed the line. Very interested why he's done that. He was only a 10th down this time, so he definitely has some time on. I'm on with Frankish at the moment. He's P3 at the moment. P3, he just needs a 10th to take pole. He's going out to the line, and now we just wait forever, it seems like at times, before he hits the timing bean, and P2 still can't get ahead of Max Rowe.
Yeah, very, very tight indeed. I think the K2 is going to be our next one across the line. Unfortunately, invalidated for the German. He goes very wide out of the final corner, so he's also going to give him an invalidation for that. So I'm surprised he's managed to stay and go on with that one. Ruddy, I think, is gearing up to start his lap. He must have had a bit of a bad outlap, or bad first lap, shall I say, so he probably backed off quite early. So he's now going for his actual run. I think it's Hazara just behind him as well, gearing up to start his lap. I'm just trying to see who's going to be the next one. Yeah, Coolman 3 tenths up on his time now. So we'll see what Coolman's able to do. Second place in the championship and has a very good opportunity of being able to take the top of this championship by the end of this race. As I said, with Gian not being here for this evening, yeah, Coolman definitely has a bit more of an advantage now, especially sitting second place in that championship. Not very ahead, or very far ahead, sorry, shall I say, of Kailu and Damien even. He's only 1 point ahead of Kailu and 5 points ahead of Damien. And yeah, P6 for Coolman at the moment. Even if it was to still finish the way that it is at the moment, he would still go up to the championship lead, just purely because for P6 and PSGL, you get yourself 5 points anyway. So you go 1 point ahead of Gian at the end of this one. So yeah, we'll see if he's able to maybe try and get himself up into the top spot of the championship, or if somehow Gian's going to be able to hold on to it without even being here for this evening. So again, only time will tell when it comes to the race. But they are pretty much all the second runs done. Ruddy, I think, is going to be our last one to still do his second run. And as to say that, he's invalidated on his lap times. So
Andero.
yeah, still down in P18 for himself. And yeah, as you say, Andero, I think is that him starting his final run possibly? Because that's his third set of softs.
No, it might be his last one, but he's 2 tenths off, so another 10th improvement. He'll take provisional pole. You can have 4 sets of softs on your car, but the fact that he pitted straight away, this might be a used set of softs potentially. I don't know. Only he knows realistically, but he's coming to the line now. What's he going to say? DRS open, just wait forever and ever and ever until you hit Qatar Airways. P4. Okay, there's time in there.
Yeah, there certainly is time in that one, but everyone's just in the pits at the moment. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of a lull period, but yeah, as I say, at this present moment, grid order is going to be Maxo Frankish out on top with first and second. So, going to be a bit of an interesting start, especially for Frankish, because I don't think he's actually been this high up in F5 so far this season. So, it'll be intriguing to see how he's going to do with a front row start, if it does end the way that it is at the moment. Griglick as well, I think it's the highest I've seen him as well for this season. So again, it all just depends on how they all do, how they all fare on. One thing to note as well, before we actually go into the race with another 5 minutes left to go, before we go into the race, fuel is a massive issue around here. A few of these guys may not know it. A few of them may actually already know it just from qualifying when they're doing this already. That fuel does play a massive part into it. If you do run out of fuel, if you do try to underfuel it, you're not going to make it to the end of this race because it's so easy to run out of fuel. And I can tell you that from experience on the PC side. I can tell you that from experience. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see if any of these guys are going to try and overfuel a significant amount, if they're going to try and underfuel and try and sit in some sort of DRS, anything like that. Any sort of strategy which will help them be that bit quicker, but at the same time, they're also going to compromise their actual race time as well if they try and underfuel the car. So again, anything can really happen in this race. As I say, I'm just quite intrigued to see who's going to try and play it smart and probably fuel in a bit more, and who's going to try and play it risky and underfuel it, but hope to sit in a DRS train and just try and ease off down the straights at a certain point.
Yeah, I don't know. From my standpoint, you always fuel it off to make the end of the race, like, because especially on a track like this, you can't bank on safety cars coming your way, and to lift and coast, like, it will compromise you a lot, especially on a track like this with a lot of corners. Like, you may be able to defend position, but you won't be able to gain any positions with any knee lift and coast, because anyone in front of you is just going to gain like near a second a lap if you require you to lift and coast. So I'd go the conservative route and have fuel in the car, but that's not everyone's preference. We know that for a fact. Some people may decide to underfuel, hope for some safety car intervention to help them, or they might be really good at lifting and coasting. So that is kind of a skill to learn how to lift and coast. So some people might actually like the idea of lifting and coasting for an entire race, even though what is the fun in that? There's no fun in it at all, in my opinion. But we'll figure that out when we come to the line. But it's going to be our traditional poleman, Rara, is going to start the final lap. So he's PA at the moment, not where he wants to be. He hasn't qualified outside the top 3 this season. He had a massive moment at Silverstone, which cost him pole, and he still was P3. So you're still expecting him to get that 3 tenths to challenge his teammate for pole, but a lot can happen here, and he could have some traffic playing his way as there's a lot of cars queuing up. Everyone is out on the track at the moment, so there could be some traffic towards the end of this lap. He's only a few corners off the back of the queue, so this could go wrong for Rara. He's only 600s up at the moment. That would barely get him ahead of Coolman, so he needs a lot more time gained. As I'm looking very cautious at the back of the traffic. He might get caught out here. They're going slow now, but he's coming up now to the second sector split. What is his time at the moment? He's not even a 10th off. This is not going to be a good qualifier for Rara unless he can pull some miracle out here. But he's going to get caught with traffic big time here for the final couple corners. There's no way he gets through this cleanly. He doesn't. I think that was Coolman who was definitely in his way there. How's that cost him? Is he's come now to the line? Rara's not going to be happy with that. Even if he was out the way, he's got distracted to the line for. It's only P6 for Rara, and he gets immediately pipped by Hazara. Not what he needed.
Certainly not. Malia Pease goes up to P3, 4,000ths of a second behind Frankish. That is qualifying done and dusted. Carl Scarrett not able to put a time on the board. Kailu is going to be our next one across the line. See what he's able to do, sitting P3 in the championship, and does not go or does not improve on his lap time. As you say, Damien invalidated to P15 for P15 for Damien, P13 at the moment for Kailu. Smalley Balls goes up into P10 with a 120.562. Now a lot of other times coming in at the board. Mika 20.318, very good time from him as well. Giovanno's just coming up to the line, 3.5 tenths up on his time, coming across the line up to P7 with a 120.442. So here we go, Maxro as well. See what he's able to do. Straight on the pole, 20.157. I'm not going to lie, I had a look at F4 qualifying results. That is faster than the F4 pole man. So Maxro, what a time that is.
Frankish could have this. He's a 10th half up for the first two sectors, so it's going to be Maxro or Frankish to take pole position here. It's going to be Maxro. Frankish loses time at the end, and I think that is that. No, Coolman. What's Coolman going to set? P9. So, okay. Coolman is the highest of the championship contenders in P9. This is a really mixed up grid. You have Damien, the man who was leading the championship the last round. He is going to be in the back row. Rara's not even in the top 10. And Coolman's P9, so this is going to be a very interesting race championship-wise. This could change the championship completely. We could get some new contenders in this championship at the end of this race, but Maxwell for the second week in a row takes pole position and continues Alpine's qualifying dominance. But that doesn't mean anything points-wise. He needs to convert it. He did not finish the last race, and he's only got P9 to his name, so it's going to be interesting what happens here.
Yeah, no, it certainly will be very interesting to see what happens. As you say, Max are keeping that Alpine streak on the top as well, so very well done to him. Frankish as well. I think highest qualifying position so far this season in F5. So alongside him with Max on the front row. Mika in third with Malia Pease in fourth. Griglick, his first full-time drive in P5. Vandero in sixth. Giovanno in seventh. Fraser in eighth. Second place in championship. Coolman down in ninth position. Hazara in 10th with Rara in 11th. Smalley Balls in 12th. Carl Scarrett in 13th. Kailu in 14th. Ruddy in 15th, Jays in 16th, Damien and Lakitu at the very back end of the grid. And that is genuinely, that is surprising to me. That, as you say, the other championship contenders down in 13th and 17th on the grid. So was Coolman in 9th. Yeah, I definitely think this is going to open the door for a few of the other guys to maybe catch up to the rest of those guys. The only problem, though, is that the one that's in 5th in the championship is Rara, who's 17 points behind Gian, so he can't even go for the championship lead for this evening. Best he can do is still get to P2, but he would still need to then get to the lead of the race, and he's down in 11th position. So, yeah, I think this is definitely opening up a lot of doors for a lot of the other guys. But whilst we are just waiting for the race to start, we'll just go into a quick intermission. So we're back with you guys in a very, very short moment. course, we are now back. So, very quickly, we have got now the 5 red lights for round number 4 around the Qatar circuit. Maxro on the front, the lights are out and away we go. Maxro getting a very good start. Miko also getting a very good start, already lining up alongside Franquise. Franquise though trying to challenge the inside of Maxro in towards turn number 1. The German's going to have the inside with Maxro around the outside, not German, sorry, the Italian's going to have the inside for having the outside of turn number 2, but Maxro going to be able to hold on ahead of the Ferrari. Mika as well managing to hold the position. Few spins going on down towards the back end of the field. That's Hazara going around with Kailu as well, not having the best of start. Jace as well, not having a very good start. In fact, side by side, but keep going through the double right hand is not the best place you want to be going side by side with. But other than that, at the front, very, very clean start so far. Maliapis getting put under pressure from Griglik in P5. Giovanni and Andero as well, very close together. Coolman trying to make his way through the grid. He's already jumped up 1 spot ahead of Fraser. Rara as well going up 1 spot, I think, again, from Jays having that early spin. Kailu now getting past the Kitu, and it's not been a very good start for all of the championship contenders. It's been an amazing start for Maxro and for Frankish. The top 2 in the qualifying session for this evening have had a sublime start.
Yeah, I was looking quickly at the championship standings. The top 3 in qualifying, you have Maxor, who's 13th, Frankish is 15th, and Mika is 10th. This race is going to absolutely change the championship completely by the looks of it. And you have Coleman, who hasn't made much positions. Damon's made up a couple positions, but Caillou's falling back. So, and Rara, he's only getting 1 position off the start, I believe. So and I think Damon's losing out to his teammate right now. Smalley Ball's not playing the team game. Of course, he's not his traditional teammate. And IJ's is going to make it past Damien. Potentially here, a bit of wheel barge, but Damien's going to maintain that P14 by the looks of it. But he forces IJ's. Oh, there's contact! Never mind that, and Damien loses out to Caillou. Lucky for that. I don't know how both of them are still pointing the right way. It was a big smack. Damien showed IJ's the exit, and IJ's was not leaving out a fight there. Big bang at the moment in the back. While it's all clean at the front, we'll wait till DRS comes. There's only 1 DRS zone on this track, so still many opportunities to be gaining an overtake, but you have to be extremely advantageous to stick some of these overtakes here. I come now to the end. Oh no, we're on double right-handers. Never mind. I still need to learn this track off on the spectator camera. But Frankish is right behind Maxro. We'll just see.
Tell you what, Smalley Ball's looking to try and go down the inside of Ruddy in towards the final corner. He's trying to point his car there, but he's not going to be able to go for any sort of move. DRS will now be enabled on this lap as soon as they cross that line, but again, they're not going to have it until they get back onto this start-finish straight. Malia is the one setting the fastest lap of the race so far, as there's a lot of ERS usage going on. Roddy trying to go down the inside of Carl Scarrett, going down in towards turn number 1. Carl Scarrett's going to have the outside to have the inside for turn number 2. Don't think Roddy's going to be able to do anything. These Smalley Balls is then going to try and go down the inside in towards turn number 2 on the Mercedes. Not going to be able to get the move done, but very good racing between a lot of them. Carl Scarrett managing to hold on to the top, or holding on to those 2 behind him. And don't forget, Smalley Balls also on a set of their medium tyres as well. And in fact, Smalley Balls trying to go down the inside of Roddy once again now, down in towards the hairpin. Gets the move done, I believe. Roddy's trying to hold it around the outside. Now through the long sweeping right-hander. I think Roddy's going to be able to hold on to that one. Unfortunately for Smalley Balls, it's very difficult to go around the outside of that. Although he's trying to switch back. Now coming through as what you like to call the chicane. He's going to hold it down the inside. Roddy's giving him the room on the inside there, but Roddy is going to be able to hold off the inside just before it comes up to the triple right-handers. Once again, very good battling between the pair of them, but Smalley Balls really wants to try and make up some ground on these medium tyres. He's the only one on a set of the medium compounder tyre. The rest of them are on a set of the hard compounder tyres. So yeah, Smalley Balls really is wanting to try and make up some sort of positions. Unfortunately for him though, he's a little bit stuck behind the Mercedes, and of course we're all still in this massive DRS train. Everyone still in this DRS train, and unfortunately for Damien, he's the first one to pick up the 3-second time penalty. I said penalties are going to be crucial around here this evening, and already it's starting to prove it.
Move at the lead. Frankish is looking for it, but Maxwell went very defensive. He took that inside line about halfway down the straight, but maintaining the lead for the moment. But Frankish is, I think he's looking to make that move early on to take the lead. Whereas Maxwell, he knows how to take pole, but he doesn't know how to lead. He lost the lead quickly in Silverstone. I believe he was actually spun in the first lap, if I remember right. I think Am I right in thinking that he was spun? It was one of the Alpines, I think. Someone at the front got spun at the start, and I think it was Maxwell, so he's not really led a lot. He's not really been in a position to lead. The only driver in the top 7, actually, that has been in the position of leading is Maliapis in Brazil. He was in P3 for majority of the race until he got caught in the madness you missed. So even then, that was a very chaotic and untraditional race. So in traditional racing, you have to go back to Coleman and aim to see someone who's been in a leading position previously. So this is newfound territory for most of the drivers this season. So Roddy adds himself to the penalty list, but it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers manage. Frankie's actually maintained his ERS very well. Maxwell hasn't been trigger happy also, but he's used a small bit. And Frankish isn't burning it yet, but he seems to have the slightly faster car on the straight. He's going to go down the inside line, and Frankish is going to take the lead, and I think Maxwell is complying with that. I think he's happy to stay in second for now. But yeah, a lot of guys aren't using the ERS a lot, yet Fraser is the only guy in the top 10 to be down below 70% on the ERS, so a lot of conservative strategies here today, especially with everyone being on the hards. You expect everyone to be pinned around the same time, so it's going to be done on track by the looks of it, this race, rather than strategy.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but at the same time as well, I think that's the reason why they're serving that ERS. It's so difficult to get ERS back around here because you're pretty much on the throttle for about 70% of the lap, especially through the triple right-handers. You're losing so much grip, so much ERS as well. You're draining a lot of the battery just by turning and holding down the accelerator on that. So yeah, it's going to be the case of going through those triple right-handers and throughout the entirety of the lap as well, because they're all pretty much fast corners other than the hairpin. Yeah, you're literally going to be burning a lot of that ERS without even actually using it. So that's probably the reason why we're just seeing Maxwell and Frankie's just having a little swap at the top end of the table. They're just allowing each other to keep their ERS, maybe try and see if they can work together to try and get away from the rest of the pack, because everyone is still within this DRS train, other than the Keto, who's dropped out of the DRS from the rest of the guys out in front of him. Hopefully the German's able to try and maybe make up a bit more time, but I think we're going to see another lead change go down. I think Maxwell is going to go back down the inside, and that's easy move for Maxo, back up into the lead of the race for the Alpine. Frankish again wasn't going to try and fight it. They're just going to try and, as I say, they're going to work together. Those three at the front are all going to try and work together, I think, to try and get away from Maliapis as much as possible, get away from whoever they can in the rest of that train. In fact, as I was going to say, get away from Maliapis. He's actually caught up to the back of this, or the back of the top three train, shall I say. Starting to get away ever so slightly from Griglick, but then again, Griglick already starting to get away from Giovanni, as well as Rara picking up now. He's the third person to pick up the 3-second time penalty, and we're only on lap number 6.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any gain away from anyone for the moment. I think this is going to be the side we're going to be seeing for the majority of the race. Just a long snake here. You have to wait till someone makes a mistake and causes a domino effect. With how close it is, you just need one guy to spin someone, and then there's a few cars going into each other. So I think there might be just a waiting for that moment where there is just the butterfly effect, the tiny tap in the rear by someone on someone else will lead to a lot of field spread potentially. So I think it's just waiting for that field spread to happen and then putting the floor down. So of course that could be horribly wrong, and this could be the pace of everyone, and everyone is just so matched. But we'll find that out at the end of lap 29. But see now, it's getting no pressing of the throttle. As Frankie is it going to be third lap in a row? We see a swap for the lead. Yeah, it's a lot of compliance happening here. It's not even any fight. I think Maxwell pulled a bit off the throttle a bit on the corner just to make sure he's not going wheel to wheel with Frankie. So a lot of compliance here. No movements in the midfield also. You only see the overtakes happening between the top two. So it's just a lot of patience at the moment. Who's going to blink first and put the foot down? That's going to be the question, as Maxwell takes some interesting lines there through 6. Looked like he was half thinking an overtake there, which would have been a very interesting place to go for an overtake, especially with how close the entire field is. But we're just going to have to wait now. I think it's just going to be it's going to be copy and paste a lot for the early stages till we get those pit stops.
Yeah, no, it certainly will, and I think the reason why Maxwell was taking that interest in line, Frankish made a bit of an error through the double right-hander as he was exiting out of it. He had a little bit of a wobble, with Mika going very wide, coming through the second of the three right-handers. So that's probably a warning that he's definitely going to be getting. But yeah, Frankish had a little bit of a moment. Maxwell, I think, was just making sure he was staying well out of the way in case something happened to Frankish, or if he was maybe making that much of a mistake. Maxwell probably could have gone for another an overtake on him. But I wonder, is Mika going to go for the move? Mika is burning. He's using that ERS. He wants to go for the move on Maxro. They're going to be free wide going down in towards turn number 1. Who's going to be one that comes out on top? Is it Mika? Is it Maxro? It's going to be Maxro. He's going to get the move done on Frankish, and Mika getting the move done on Frankish as well. Frankish still trying to hold it up the inside in towards turn number 2. Bit of contact between Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. Mika's going to have the inside going through turn number 3, and then through turns 4 and 5. Mika's going to have that inside for that as well. Don't think Frankish is going to be able to do anything. Has to settle for P3 for the time being. So Mika manages to gain a position out of that. That is definitely what the Alfa Romeo needed, because he was stuck in that train behind Frankish and behind Maxro, as Giovanni having a spin out of the hairpin. That's one of the Red Bulls as a save. Giovanni now going around, I think now unfortunately dropping down the order. He was in P6, he's now dropped down to P14. Only saving grace for him, though, is that he's behind the rest of the guys that have penalties. As I say, that Smalley Balls losing out quite a few positions as well.
Yeah, what actually happened there was Maxro had a bit of a tank slapper. Oh, I think there's contact actually between Smalley Balls and IJs. I think they may have made contact. They were both stopped there, but back to the point, Maxro had a little swapper off the final corner, which inadvertently is given the lead of the race, because that let Mika go for the move, which led to being free wide, which forced Frankies to fight this. So inadvertently, Maxro losing off the final corner is giving him the lead of the race. And we're going to see, is he going to be as to comply with Mika as he was with Frankies? He's actually defending this. So, but no, I think Mika now becomes the third lead of the race. But there was definitely more fighting before Maxro there. I think we're slowly getting to that stage where the gloves are going to be taken off there. But Mika's burning a lot of ERS now. He has the lead, but yeah, Frankish is in good position ERS-wise. He has the most. Maxwell definitely burned a significant amount on the previous lap. I think he was more concerned about staying ahead of Mika on the previous lap, and he inadvertently took the lead of the race. I don't think that was his intention, but it's what happened.
Yeah, it certainly was. Maliap's also making a mistake coming out of the hairpin. It's now going to see if Griglet can try and go around the outside, but not going to be able to go for any sort of move as the Mercedes driver. He's just going to sit behind AlphaTauri. But now Maliap's out of the top, out of the rest of these guys from 15th upwards, could be the first one to be losing the DRS from those top 3, and then could allow those 3 to just try and run away from the rest of the group. Maliap's needs to try and do everything he can to get back within that DRS, and has done so very nicely coming up to the triple right-handers. So must have just been a little bit of a scare moment that AlphaTauri had. Maybe had to use a little bit of DRS just before the triple rights. But now back within DRS solidly as well. As you say, Mika making that mistake as well, coming out the exit of the triple right-handers, it might invite Maxro to then go for a move on the Alfa Romeo. Again, they've been swapping pretty much every single lap so far. Is Maxro going to be able to get past him, or is he just going to be content and wait behind him? I think he's going to be content. He's turned off his DRS, so yeah, he's going to be content. Sit behind the Alfa Romeo for the time being and just let him do the work. Let him just carry him through for the time being. But this is what I'm saying. I'm intrigued on who's done what in terms of fuel-wise. The Smalley Balls, our first retirement of the session, and has already left the session as well, retiring in the pits on lap number 10 of 29. Of course, the only one being on the alternative strategy. Yeah, I think he did.
Do we have full car damage on this, or just from wing damage?
I think it's full car.
Okay, so I'm going to make a quick assumption that he got hit on the side and he had side pod damage. And driving this game with side pod damage, you may as well drive with your hands crossed over each other. So if that is the case, I do not blame him for retiring, because side pod damage in this game is horrid.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And yeah, that's not exactly something that you want to be driving with. So yeah, understandably. Plus, as I say, he was the only one on the alternative strategy as well, and wasn't really making up positions that he wanted to. So I can understand why Smalley Balls has already retired from the session. Interesting thing, Fraser almost losing that DRS to the top 8 now, and he has got no ERS to play with. So luckily for him, I think Rara just made that slight mistake, or Coleman might have made a slight mistake, and has managed to get himself back within DRS. But at the same time, like I say, he is significantly low on ERS, whereas Carl Scarrett behind him, well, he's burning that ERS. He wants to get a move done on Fraser to make sure they stay within that DRS train. Jay's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Down the inside goes Carl Scarrett. Rara was also looking for the move on Coolman up in front, but is Fraser going to be able to hold on ahead of Carl Scarrett? Carl Scarrett's going to have the outside. Fraser moves it straight back up into P9, but this battle in between the pair of them and Fraser holding on means that they are now going to lose DRS to the guys out in front of him. Probably not the smartest move from Fraser, because now pretty much P9 could be the best that they could get unless there is a safety car that comes out which plays into their favour. But yeah, I think Fraser, by doing that battling, unfortunately might have costed the rest of these guys behind him a decent amount of points. Maybe P9 could be the best he gets, unless he catches back up into the DRS train. If he does, then yeah, it looks as if he is actually catching up back into the DRS train. So if he does manage to catch back up though, then it would not be necessarily a bad thing. It's just, yeah, at the moment he's out of that DRS. He's not going to have that straight line speed, and we could potentially be seeing Carl Scarrett go past him on this at the start of the next lap.
It's going to be interesting. This is the moment we've waited for, the people to drop off the ERS. I think Rory's on 6-second penalties right now. But yeah, once people start dropping off the ERS, you're going to see a lot of different field spread. Like this, you'll start seeing more field spread in the front group as people start to get a bit more relaxed, thinking they have the job done at the moment. They'll get a bit more relaxed and they'll drop out the DRS, as Fraser has no ERS at all. He's just passed with ease, and this could be the start of... This could be the start as Coleman and Rara going forward. Coleman's off the track. I think Rara lifted off to let Coleman back to avoid any chance of a penalty, but what that's done is that's dropped Coleman out. This was too early. This is just going to start a chain reaction. Fraser getting out of the DRS is just going to start a chain reaction. As we're going to see more as actually Carl Scarrett's in the DRS, so it's just going to be a chain reaction coming up at the moment. So you're just wanting to be ahead of where the chain's being cut off at the moment. As IJ is, I think he's on 6 also. There's a couple that's already on 6 before most of the fields even got 3. It's very interesting.
Yeah, all of those guys are having 6 seconds penalties, as you say, Ruddy and Jays, unfortunately for them. Yeah, I was on board with that battle with Coolman and Rara. Rara tried sending it up the inside into turn number 1, hit the side of Coolman. Coolman then went off the track, so fair play to Rara for obviously letting him back through and not keeping that position. But we'll see if Coolman's able to get back within that DRS of those top 6 now after that battle between himself and Alpine. He's just shy of it at the moment, but needs to use a bit of that ERS, which he is doing, to get himself back within the DRS, and has done that. So very nice, nice work from Coolman to get himself back in that DRS. Very nicely done. As Frankish now looking to go for their move on Maxwell. Maxwell started on the front, started at the front of the grid. He's now down into P3. Frankish in the Ferrari gets the move done up now into P2. Mika's done a very good job so far as well, holding on to the lead of the race. Considering that long back straight, it's very obviously difficult when that's the only DRS zone as well, but he's done a very good job of holding on ahead of the rest of the guys behind him. But now that they're going to start to battle it out a little bit more, could this allow Mika to try and run away ever so slightly from the rest of the guys, or is he going to be, are they still going to be able to maintain the DRS behind the Alfa Romeo? And is the Alfa Romeo going to be able to try and hold on ahead of the rest of those guys? I think really the latter stages and the pit stops are where we're going to start to see some moves go down. And I guarantee it will be this lap or next lap we'll start to see these hard runners make their pit stops.
I think it's going to be a couple more laps. I think, and also you have to question, is someone going to try and go on the softs for the end? I know the softs are a bit, a word I cannot say. They are a bit sugar honey iced tea, to put it lightly, on this track. They will just disintegrate immediately. You'll get 4 or 5 laps out of them, and then they are just plastic. They are melted plastic. So, but we're seeing a lot going in, and there's a few fake outs. Maxwell had a fake out there. Mika, Frankish, a lot going in there. I think Maxwell's out, but he's put the foot down. But here comes the bad side. Maliapis might be looking for a move. He might want to lead, but if Maliapis is not playing this smart, I think, but he's got to move early, so that might come to his end. If he had to go wheel to wheel with Maxwell, that would, his contact!
I don't think that was actually contact. It looked like Maliapis just got on the throttle a bit too early. From what I saw, Maxwell didn't. It doesn't look like he hit him anyway. It could be wrong.
The movement suggests there was contact. It was a sudden jerk. It wasn't as if he lost. He suddenly got like a jerk forward. Like, he didn't just kind of change direction. He was constant with his direction. Oh, that'll be Stewart's, but he didn't have his car went away. It was going the whole way. He didn't have a change direction, but I don't know that is a difficult place to spin it to like that. But yeah, cost him a lot. Maliapis, he was looking to potentially try an overcut to take the lead, but now that might also hurt Max Rowe because that definitely cost him a slight bit of time. That moment for Maliapis, so this could play in the hands of Mika and Frankish. They could shortly be catching Laikatu, who is being a bit off the pace today. So, but Max Rowe is in. Coleman is in. Carl Scarrett is in. Maliapi stays out after getting a 3-second penalty. Roddy's in. Damien's in. Caillou stays out. Hazara stays out. So here we go. But this is going to be important now. Where does Max Rowe come out? Has he lost positions potentially? I'm going to see here. Oh, he's been held! He's been held! Oh, no, he hasn't. That was just a massive glitch. I thought he got held by the McLaren coming in and the Red Bull. But no, he's coming out now. But where is Mika? Mika's coming out. Oh, Mika has this easily. Oh, Max is going to lose a lot of positions here. Max just lost out massively. He's going to be behind Andrero. He just stays out ahead of his teammate. Oh, that's hurt Max Rowe a lot. He's in a early, dropped himself to 5th right now.
I don't know why Rara was the one that picked first if Max Rowe was in this battle for the lead. I don't know why they decided to let that go about, because now Max Rowe, as you say, he's not lost out just from P2 where he was before. He goes very wide as well, coming out of turn number 5, sorry. But yeah, not only that, he's now dropped down not from 3rd, not from 4th, but into a net P5 with all of those guys, with those top 3 still yet to pit of Maliapis, Kailu and Hazara. Surely, though, that indicates that those top 3 are going to be going on a set of the soft compound tyres towards the end. They should probably pit around laps 18 to maybe pit onto a set of the soft compound tyre, because they can get about 10, 11 laps to the end.
Kailu's in.
Fair enough. That's because Carl Scarrett, he did pit on the last lap as well, so he didn't want to double stack with his teammate. The other two, though, Hazara and Maliapis, that's probably got to indicate to me that even though they're not pitting at the moment, it's probably indicated to me that they're going to be going on a set of soft compound tyres towards the end of this race. But at the moment, the top 4, the net top 4, Mika, Frankies, Griglick, and now Andero, as well as Max Rowe, they have got that gap to Coolman. Coolman, I don't know how, he's not been able to keep up with Max Rowe, even after that incident with Maliapis on the in lap. Coolman still's not been able to gain back time on them, so he's managed to stay up ahead. And again, losing out DRS as well to the rest of the guys, as Rara's got the move done on Coolman now up into P8. But Rara, of course, has that 3-second time penalty, so not exactly going to be beneficial for him in the long run. But Mika still managing to hold on ahead as the net leader so far in this race.
Yeah, but he's not got a lot of ERS to his name. He's got 30% ERS, while Frankie says 67%. So it's looking like it's just going to be a game of cat and mouse and just a game of patience. When does Frankish unleash his ERS storage and go for this move? There's been a kind of a team a lot here. We saw it in Bahrain, we saw it in Britain. It was just a game of waiting, just charge up the barrier and then just unloading it, try to catch the guy in front out on the closing stages and get the win later on. But of course, guy in front, he has the advantage of he can just keep his ERS knowing there's not going to be a move, and he could just blast his ERS when the time comes. So it could be interesting. It's people who haven't been in this position before. Like, you have to go down to Rara and see the first guy who has contended for a race win. So it's newfound land, as I think Raki's actually going for the move now. He takes the net lead of this race again, and I think Gridlick up to P4. Gridlick's on for a podium here. That is impressive. I can't remember where he started, but he's definitely appeared out of nowhere here. Andreo's on for a good result also. A lot of guys on for their best results comfortably this season. I think if it finishes when you get the other two pitting, I think if it finishes as it is, the entire top 5 will have their best result of the season comfortably, which is insane.
Yeah, no, they certainly would do. So we'll see if that's where the order's going to end up at the end of this race, or if it's going to be completely different, or if they all end up coming together. That means that Max Verstappen probably would end up somehow getting a win, or Coolman being able to take the championship lead. As it stands, Gian will actually still be holding on to the championship lead if it finishes the way that it is. Of course, once Maliapis and Hazara have pit, though, as Maliapis picking up yet another 3-second time penalty at the exit of the triple rights. Yeah, Hazara making his way in, maybe actually going for a set of softs early. But yeah, if it finishes the way that it is at the moment, then yeah, it will be the case that Coolman won't end up jumping ahead of G. And obviously, once those two pit, then yeah, Coolman will then be able to jump up into P6, and then will actually jump up ahead of G in the standings come later on. Jay's picking up another 3-second time penalty down in P16. The key to as well, 11 seconds off of the back of Jay's, who has an untold amount of penalties as well. As I thought Griglick was going to go for a move on Mika in towards turn 1, goes very deep in towards it though, and Darrow's going to try and go around the outside of turn number 2, but not going to be able to go for the move. And the ET8 driver, I think, is starting to get a bit keen. He wants to try and get this move done on the Mercedes out in front of him, but at the moment he's just not going to be, he's not being able to find anywhere. Griglick, as I say, breaking very late going in towards turn 1 and not able to maintain that position. In fact, also breaking very late going through the hairpin. I thought he tapped the back of Mika then, but no, managed to hold on to it for the time being. And once again, the key to another 3-second time penalty.
How many time penalties do you have to get disqualified? Because he's on 15 at the moment. I think it's 30 and you get 30 seconds of penalties and you get disqualified. So you need to be careful to make sure he doesn't get disqualified. But yeah, we're not seeing Rara and Coolman join up to this pack though, which is interesting to me because they're definitely not all going full pace, especially if there's been battles for the front of this pack and you're still having Rara and Coolman not gain on this. They're fighting each other. They should work together just to catch up to this pack. But we're going to see another move for the lead potentially here. No, Mika's a bit too far back. We could see a position for P3. Griglick's having to think about it. It'll be a dive bomb if he goes for it. Nothing's better of it, but he's definitely filling that Alfa Romeo's mirrors full of Mercedes, so I think Griglick is going to run out of patience sooner rather than later. He's just going to go for it. Yeah, Frankish looks to be managing well up the front.
Moves going down in the midfield though. Damien going down the inside of turn number 2 on Ruddy. Ruddy was trying to go down the inside in turn 1 on Aston Martin, but Damien manages to get back in that ahead of the Mercedes, and Giovanni all over the back of them as well. Very good battling between Damien and Ruddy. I think Damien, though, had that inside for that corner and meant that he was able to maintain that position for the time being. Carl Scarrett as well, all over the back of Fraser. Yet again, another 3-second time penalty for Lakitu. I think you were saying it was 30 seconds. I think it's actually 27 seconds penalties. Once you get that, then you do to get disqualified from the race, as Carl Scarrett is still just pushing the back of that Haas in P9. The only good thing for them at the moment, though, is that the both of them will get the jump on Rara, but again, they need to get a bit more of a move on, especially Fraser, as yeah, Maliapin's now finally coming into the pit. It's going to chuck on probably, as I say, a soft compound tyre. So yeah, again, AlphaTauri again probably played it a bit too late, but with the penalties, I suppose it's worth a try on anything, as Carl Scarrett now DRS wide open, going to go down the inside of Fraser for P9. Move done. Carl Scarrett now up into the 8th position even, because of Maliapin's pitting. So yeah, Carl Scarrett now up to 8th position. Damien still in P10 with the final points position at the moment, but because of Kailu just about being within the 3 seconds of Damien, we might actually see Kailu just about sneaking a point for this evening. But now everybody's made their pit stop. Now the standings are what they're saying they are, other than the penalties being applied. Is it going to be Frankies that takes the win? Is it going to be Mika? Is it going to be Griglick? That's another penalty for Lakitu. That's going to be inevitable. So we'll see by the end of this race. As Maxwell getting a move on Darrow.
Ooh, that was interesting. I'm guessing Andrero had a bad run off 6, because making a move in 7 would be very advantageous. So my assumption is Andrero had a bit of a tank swapper through 6. Very easy to lose traction there. So that's the only logical explanation. But he's now being piled under pressure by Coolman, who's now going to take the championship lead as things stand. But this Gene will definitely be happy if things end like this, only having a couple point deficit, especially when you consider Damien, who probably when you saw the news that Gene was missing this race, you'd be expecting Damien to take full advantage of this. At the moment, he might not score, and he's definitely not going to score at the moment at 6 seconds. This could be. Oh, as I think this move for the lead. Mika's got the move for the lead. Never mind that. We'll focus on the championship later. With this, we got a race right now to focus on. Mika has taken the lead from Frankish. Gridlick, is he going to look for a move? Ooh, Frankish has to go a bit defensive there, but it's going to be a very interesting end to this race. Who can deal with the pressure more? None of these guys have been in this position before to be leading a race, let alone even contend for podiums or high-end points. This is foreign land to everyone here, and who can adapt the quickest? Who is the best at adapting for the low end of F5 here, and who can take the win and eventually add themselves to the championship fight? They'll need a bit more than that. They'll need to have some consistency to the game, but a win would definitely gain some motivation, which could translate into more success, and this could be the turning point in the championship.
Certainly could be, and Andero picking up a 3-second time penalty now, so that's his win opportunity. He's pretty much gone out of the window again, unless all of these four in front of him will practically die. So that's pretty much his, as I say, his winning hopes gone out of the window. But now DRS wide open on lap number 21 of 29. Is Frankie's going to go for the move on Mika down in towards turn number 1. I think the Italian might be thinking about it. He's going down the inside and gets the move done on Mika. Mika's trying to hold it around the outside though, but I don't think the VRT driver's going to be able to do anything about it. Just slots in behind the Ferrari for the time being. Nicely done for the Alfa Romeo. And now Griglick as well, looking to see if he can maybe go for something as well as Maxwell. Maxwell, I think, or maybe iron up in a move in towards the double right-hander is not exactly a place you want to be overtaking at, as Lakitu yet another 3-second time penalty for the German. I think we're going to be seeing our first disqualifications. Mika picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's on their side as well, out of the hairpin, and that's made him now drop down into P4 as well, and picking up the 3-second time penalty. He was leading the race for quite a significant amount of time, and now that is him dropping down. In fact, he's had another oversteer moment, and that's allowed Andero to now go past him. So again, Andero, if he finishes ahead of Mika on track, because they both have a 3-second time penalty, means that he will at least still finish in a decent points position, because he'll finish up ahead of Mika and finish ahead of Rara, because Rara and Coolman have now joined the fray. Not only that, Coolman, he's probably laughing at this at the moment. He's seeing it as another 2 extra positions he's just gotten just from keeping it on track.
Yeah, what happened there was Mika, he caught the curb there off 5, and that he had to correct it, went wide because he went off track, then went back on track, or when he went back on track, he clipped the curb again, lost the back of the car, and it just went from bad to worse to horrendous for him. It was just irrecoverable. But Gridlick, he's looking for the lead. Gridlick, someone I've been watching, he's been patient, but he's been looking for it. He's been filling up the mirrors with his Mercedes. He's been putting the pressure on, and he's just waiting for the mistakes. As IJS gets another penalty, he paid it for the softs again. He might have damage, but it's going to be interesting. It's looking like a 3-horse race for this win at the moment, unless there's other penalties to be handed. But Maxwell, despite getting the strategy wrong, he could still win this race.
There is still a definite opportunity for Maxwell to be winning this race, but yeah, definitely a top 3 fight now. Coolman, again, I don't want to say that he's out of it, because he's brought himself right back into the fray with the rest of those guys. He just needs to try and get past Mika and Andero, but again, not all hope is lost between those guys as of yet, but definitely these top 3 are all within a shout of this race win for this evening. It's just whether Frankie's is going to be able to hold on ahead of Griglick and Maxwell. If Griglick's going to be able to get the move done on Frankie's and hold on to the lead with that, or if Maxwell is going to be able to do something maybe towards the latter stages of this race and get the win as well. Lakitu, yet another 3-second time penalty. How many is he on now? He's on 27. Is it disqualified?
I think it's 27 on the 30 gets you disqualified.
Probably what it is, yeah, from the looks of
I've seen a few 27s in my time. So, but anyway, we'll focus. Is this going to be the move for the lead for Gridlick? We've had 4 leaders. It's going to be 5 right now. Gridlick adds himself to the leaders club. And Maxwell gets his by Frankish. This could be big for Maxwell. You want to be P2 in the closing stages of this race, because you will have the advantage with DRS, and they're going well to a lot. No damage, fair fighting there. But it just gives Gridlick a bit of breathing room for the moment. He has a lot of ERS to his name. He almost has 60% to him. Maxwell only has 25, so Gridlick looks to be in great position as we're coming down to the last 5 laps. The 5th leader of this race, I believe. On track, there's been, of course, with pit stops, there's been a few different things, but net leaders, Gridlick adds himself to the list. And he only had his first race last week, and now he's a full-time driver. Here, he's taking the seat. He's taking a full-time seat here, and what a way to welcome yourself to F5 in PSGL as a full-time driver by taking a win.
Yeah, there certainly would be a way for that to happen. And yeah, definitely is these top 7 now. I think Carl Scarrett is just a little bit too far back. He might still be able to get a jump on a couple of the other guys out in front of him, though. Of course, Rara, he's still within the 3-second time penalty of Ruddy, sorry, picking up another 3-second time penalty now. I think that's 9 for Ruddy in NLR as well. So I think Damien's even going to get a jump on him, but they're all going to lose out a significant amount of positions because of the penalties that are going to be applied. But Maxo, he's got the DRS wide open on the Mercedes out in front of him. I think we're going to see the Alpine go for another lead change, and he certainly does. Down the inside, he goes up into the top spot for the time being. Again, with just over 5 laps, under 5 laps left to go. Again, Maxo now taking the position or taking the lead of this race. But we'll see if he's going to be able to stick onto that come the end of it. I think at the moment, I think Greglick is really the one that's looking the best, as well as Frankiste. In fact, both of those guys are on a significant amount of ERS in comparison to Maxo up in first. Although, then again, Maxo, all he has to do is just try and hold on that straight. And if he can do that, then he's actually got a decent chance of taking a win for this evening. But yeah, speaking of, again with Carl Scarrett, he's still, as I say, within that 3-second time penalty of Rara. If he can try and close up ever so slightly more, he can then maybe even get the jump on both Mika and Andero. And a decent result for Carl Scarrett would be P5 if he does manage to just gain up an extra couple of attempts for the McLaren. I think he's definitely got the options to do it. He just needs to try and execute it as best as he possibly can.
Yeah, I think at the moment, Grealick's in the best position to win this race, being in P2 with that DRS and the almost 3 times the ARS to his name. I think he's in good position. He just needs to play it patience. We've seen Mika well off the track. But the thing with this makes this track unique is with how long the final DRS zone is. Could we see it go on the line this race? It's potential to be a drag race still alive, but I think Grealick's actually going to go for the move. I'd be playing patient. I play patient and stay behind. He didn't burn any ERS to do that, but still, you want to play patient. You want to go for the closing stages to go for the win. Well, he's happy taking the lead for now. It's only matters. The lead only matters if you're leading when the checker flag falls. Realistically.
Yeah, I suppose it does, but at the same time, you also want that advantage of saying, look, I'm in the lead of this race, I'm in control. Try and get past me, that kind of thing. Obviously, with DRS, it's going to be so easy to do it, but at the same time, it's just holding that advantage of knowing that you're in the lead of that race. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of like a mentality kind of thing, is what I would have thought anyway. But yeah, Greglick is the one that is in the lead at this moment. Again, another lead change, 4 laps or 3.5 laps now left to go as they're approaching the end of Sector 2. Once again, Carl Scarrett is starting to lose more time to Rara now. Jay's picking up another 3-second time penalty. He's trying to rival Lakitu for the amount of penalties that he can get on this track. He's up to 18.
Right now.
Yeah, they are battling with each other, ironically. As getting a bit of a sound glitch at the moment. I don't know if you are.
Actually, they've been able to wheel for a good few corners. It's actually decent battling from the lads.
Do truly love to see it. But here we go. I think, again, another lead change going to go down Max Rowe. Is he going to go down the inside of Greglick? No, he's not. He's, in fact, backing off of this one. So he's going to try and play it a bit smarter. But then he's also got to worry about Frankiste behind him. Because Frankiste, if he wanted to, can just go for a move anytime. Especially considering the ERS difference between himself and Maxo as Jay's another 3-second time penalty. In fact, he's coming into the pits. Probably to change onto another set of soft tyres and try and go for an even fastest lap, as he's picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits now. Never mind, he's actually coming in to retire from the session. So a second retiree of the night, unfortunately, is Andera. I think had a bit of a misfortune through the hairpin, because I just saw him over the other side of the track and lost a tiny bit of time to the top 3. Again, I'm just keeping an eye on that gap. I don't know why, but I'm keeping an eye on that gap between Carl Scarrett and Rara, as well as Mika and Andero. Just because I'm intrigued to see if he's going to be able to get the jump on those guys in P4 and P5, and especially if Andera makes those mistakes. There you go. There is the disqualification, and I think that's our first disqualification of this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably, but here's the thing: there's yellow flags on track right now into turn 1. Will they be gone by the time they reach there? Because okay, it's gone up to turn 2. But yeah, it's gonna be yellow flags on track, and oh, here comes Frankish. He's burning now. Frankish, he was on 80% DRS. It's gonna be free wide into turn 1. Who's gonna lead into turn 1? Wheel contact, double wheel contact between Frankish and max row, but they are up to 1 or 2. They're still going wheel to wheel. There's no yellow flags now. Are they going to be 3 wide at the turn 3? They are going to be 3 wide at the turn 3. What is happening here? Frankish has the Green League has the lead.
Wow.
What's happening here? They went 3 wide from turn 3. My God. No contact. Andreo's joined this battle. He's pushing Frankie's wide. Andreo goes into P3. He's going wheel to wheel with Andreo. It's all kicking off. This is the moment it kicks off. Mika's looking at it. Jesus Christ, it's all happening now.
Yeah, it certainly is. So now, yeah, the closing stages of this race. Griglick is the one that managed to get back into the lead of this race, but again, that's probably not the place that you want to be. Are we going to be seeing any sort of DRS tactics going down in towards the final corner on this or on this penultimate lap? We could definitely see it as that's Maxwell going very wide out of coming through the triple right-hander. But again, Frankish all over the back of Griglick. Is Griglick going to try and play the DRS game? No, he is not. So he's content with Frankish going for the move on him, going down in towards tire number 1. But here we go. We're coming on to the final lap now. Frankish is burning. Maxro is not burning from the looks of things. Neither is Andero. Mika is starting to burn a bit more as well as Coolman. See that red flashing out on the back of his car. Frankish now goes into the lead of this race to say on the final lap now as well. Damien getting a move on Carl Scarrett. Hazara getting a move on Kailu and Fraser. Carl Scarrett now also getting a move. Oh, getting overtaken by Ruddy as well. Could potentially be losing out two positions. Oh, sorry, losing out the position to Rara if they do keep on battling. Fraser picking up a 3-second time penalty now as well. But again, as I say, on this final lap, Griglick is now going to be putting under pressure from Maxo. But Maxo has a bit of a moment coming through the hairpin. Means that Griglick is going to be able to get a bit more further away from the Alpine. So close from having that spin. So close. But Griglick now, with just a few more corners left to go, obviously the triple right-handers, he needs to close up a significant amount. Going very deep through there. That's not exactly where you want to be going, but he needs to try and close up ever so slightly more if he wants the chance of winning it for this evening. Again, I apologise about the sound glitch. I don't know what is going on with this in game, but we've only got about 3 more corners left to go. Let's see, is Griglick going to be able to try and go for this move? Another 3-second penalty. Is it going to be Griglick? Is it going to be Frankish going in towards the final corner now? DRS is going to be wide open. I don't think Griglick has got the ERS to do it. I think Frankish, he's going to be able to take the win for this evening for round number 4 of F5 of PSGL. Frankish is the one that is out on top. Griglick is in second with Maxo in third. Coolman ends up finishing 4th, taking the championship lead. Andero ends up finishing 5th as well. Mika in 6th. Carl Scarrett jumps up to P7 in the end. Hazara in 8th. Kailu in 9th. Rara just about picks up the final points position this evening. And Damien, well, that's the Martins for the first time this season not picking up a single point throughout this season.
No, not picking up a single point, not even picking up the win. They won every race so far, but it's Ferrari's night, it's Frankish's night. He came into this race in 13th with only a P8 to this day. That win is going to shoot him up the table a lot. He'll be on 19 points. He'll overtake Rara, the man who takes pole almost every week. He's going to be overtaken by Frankish. That has completely reshuffled the table. But after all that thing, Gian probably is still second in the table.
Certainly will be. So Frankish, as I say, taking his first race win of the season. Congratulations to you, Griglick, as well in P2. Again, first full-time drive. Very good result for him, to say the least. Sorry, ends up taking 3rd. Final podium position, starting on pole. Still, the Alpine's not able to convert a pole to a win. But again, P3, a good result nonetheless. Coolman, as I say, now jumps up into the championship lead, finishing in P4. And Darrow jumps up, finishing 5th. And I think, again, his highest result in the season so far. Mika in 6th, with Carl Scarrett in 7th, Hazara in 8th, Kailu in 9th. Rara taking the final points position. Damien in 11th, with Fraser in 12th, Giovanno in 13th, Ruddy in 14th, with Malia Pease in 15th. Jays picking up the fastest lap point. No fastest lap point, shall I say, but DNF'd it in the end as well in P16. Smalley Balls and Lakitu all are non-finishers, and Lakitu, as I say, congratulations to you, probably the wooden spoon reward, for picking up the first disqualification of the season. And if we get a nice little clap from Oshin as well. So, any sort of final thoughts for the ending of that at all, Oshin? Because that was a very entertaining ending of that race.
I mean, if Gene is watching this, he is loving life right now. You had the likes of Damien, Rara, and Caillou did not have good races at all. Koeman didn't get a podium. He only got P4, and to be honest, a lucky P4 to say that. So I think Gene's happy enough with what's happened today. He'll probably be back for Austria next week, thinking he'll just easily reclaim the championship lead. But is there new challenges for this championship? Is this going to give Frankish momentum potentially to challenge for the Gridlick? Only his second race. His first time as a full-time driver. He's had a statement and a half tonight here. He scored last week. He was P6 last week, I believe. Okay, he was actually P7. But yeah, it's 2 points finishes in a row. And first time as a full-time driver goes, hello lads, my name is Gridlick. I'll take a P2 here tonight and be this close to a win. Thank you very much.
Certainly will. So, thanks to everybody that has tuned in for this evening. Make sure you guys do check out next week for round number 5 around the Red Bull Ring. Big thank you, of course, to the sponsors for this evening as well of GT Omega. Make sure you guys are checking them out in the description. You don't want to be missing out any deals that you can get using, I think, code PSGL at the checkout. You should be able to get a sort of discount as well. But again, it all explains it in the description, so make sure you are checking that one out as well. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching this evening, and we'll catch you guys next week for round number 5 around the Red Bull Ring.
Desperately trying to hang on. He's got the inside. Up here is through on the left hand side. Hooks the apex, gets on the power nicely, and that is job done. Jarno Opmeer now to the last couple of corners now. His finest drive, his greatest drive, and he's done it at the Circuit of the Americas. He returns to the top step of the podium. Once again, the ghost is back. Jarno Opmeer wins the US Grand Prix in a stunning Grand Prix.
Cocaine in my nose, got rose in my cup though. Started climbing my phone, she got me locked in on cup though.